What is going on, everyone? It's your guy Cole Jackson back here on Road Graders after a very long vacation. Didn't end up doing a whole lot of pre-draft preparation, but we are here to start breaking down the Baltimore Ravens draft class. We know who's coming to Baltimore. We're going to dive into each prospect over the next few weeks. Brought to you by Russell Street Report, sponsored by DNL Tinting. Go to dltinting.com. All your window tinting, car detailing needs. I think they do windshield replacements too. Just a lot of good stuff. dltinting.com. Go check that out. And we're going to be diving into cornerback Nate Wiggins, first round pick, 30th overall to the Baltimore Ravens, jumping into some of the things that he's going to bring to town. And I'm looking forward to it, guys. I missed you guys. If you guys miss me, go ahead, hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you're new here, and as always, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the film breakdown. So let's get into the good stuff. We're going to start with a little peek at the statistical profile. So up here you're seeing the PFF data chart. Not too worried about grades. They don't really tell us a whole lot, but just some of the statistics behind Nate Wiggins' game. Starting bottom left corner. Snaps by alignment. Obviously, this is a boundary corner through and through. We're going to see a couple of slot targets. Actually, it came against Dontez Walker, who was also drafted by the Ravens. He lined up in the slot a few times in the North Carolina game. He followed him, so you'll see some of those. But some of the key takeaways here really comes down to, not a lot of targets in his last year, but it's really that passer rating. Basically, when he was targeted, not a lot going on for quarterbacks. 44.4 passer rating, only a 43.9 completion percentage, which I think really speaks to the amount of incompletions thrown his way. Not a lot of targets overall, though. Only 41 targets throughout the year. So when you look at the forced incompletions and you see he was tied for 199th in the NCAA, that seems low, but that doesn't tell us the percentage, right? So I think that completion percentage up here tells us a little bit more of that story. And then when you kind of jump into some of the comparatives, so I like to look at this with corners because it's going to show us our man coverage and our zone coverage yards per snap. So we're kind of looking at a per capita here, and you're going to see him ranking, up in the top right corner, which is where we want to see him, with a lot of other top corners. This is going back to the 2020 draft class, so he's in good company. He's where we want to be, and it basically just means that, not a lot of yards per coverage snap. So he's playing a lot, but not giving up yards. When you get into that bottom left, that's where you get a little worried because, you're playing either you're giving up a lot of yards on your snaps or you're not playing as much and giving up yards when you are playing. Just give me a quick second here to turn on my screen brush so that we can draw on some of these plays. Let's get that up there. There we go. All right, let's dive into the film. So we're going to go slow here right at the start because there's one part of his game that stood out to me the most, and I think it's his greatest strength. And it's really, I think we'll call it his patience. But it's his patience, but also the amount of comfort and, I would say, yeah, comfort in his deep speed. And so you're going to see what I mean. We got Keon Coleman down here at the bottom, and as he's going to attack him vertically, you're not seeing him turn his hips. So you can see up until they're about 5 yards apart, he's still square with Keon Coleman. So he's not flipping his hips to turn, because what happens is when you threaten vertically, once he opens his hips, that's when you can take advantage as a route runner and break off of that. So if he were to, open outside leverage, when he's running an in-breaking route, well, then he's twisted his hips, right? So you see him here, and then when he breaks, he's able to quickly react to him. So that's something that stood out to me, and I think it's his trust in his deep speed. So he can stay square with the runner longer, which allows him to be stickier at the stem of the route. And it's really what, and you kind of see it sometimes in the quarterback's eyes, who the quarterback will be reading him and he'll go off the progression because the player is simply not getting the separation that they want. And so you're going to see that deep speed here. So this is Johnny Wilson. So Johnny Wilson's going to attack him deep, and you see he's just going to run with them. So Johnny Wilson, not the most explosive player, but he is big. And so you see he's going to stay, again, square, right up well. He's going to come into him. So you see, right, still square, and then he's going to open up once he gets a little bit closer to his hip. But look how tight that coverage is throughout. One thing that I was a little worried about, and I'll try and highlight it as we go through some of these plays, is as he gets running, see here, eyes aren't back to the ball. This is something that I am thinking might be a challenge for him early. We saw it with Brandon Stevens where his head wasn't getting back around to the ball, and it can lead to PI because you're attacking. As the receiver goes to a catch, you're attacking, through their arms, trying to go through their catch point. Or it's just like that lack of getting your head back around to the ball, which can give corners some struggles. So that's just something that I noticed. I'm thinking because he's turning and has to use some of that catch-up speed, that could lead to that. So we'll kind of have to monitor that as we go. It's just something that I stood out as where I could just see a young player having, and most rookies will struggle with things like that. But we're going to see it here. This is against Dontez Walker. As you see, so this is what I mean. So he's not going to turn, and this is a fast player, so he's threatening him vertically, but instead he sits on the route. So as he attacks, what I would usually expect here, and what you see from a lot of corners, is him to start taking steps deep. Instead, his feet stay this way, and he actually stays square to the quarterback. Right there. And there's that tight coverage. And you're going to see it again here. Top of your screen. This is against Notre Dame. Oh, wait, this we're going to see just that ability. So again, he's going to get the double move. So receiver's going to hit the double move where he kind of starts to pedal down and then speed up. But that's that trust in that deep speed, right? See it right there? So watch. Right as he's about to get to him, see the slow down right there, and then he's going to try and explode. But look how tight he is, right in his pocket. And it looked like he had his head back around there. So we see that there. So it's not constant. It's just something that stood out to me a few times. And there's that tight coverage. So again, getting threatened vertically. He's getting pushed upfield. Opens his hips a little bit there, but doesn't have to get too deep. And look how fluidly he goes from an out or an inside leverage position to an outside leverage. So boom, boom. It's just the fluidity in his hips at his size. And if that ball's thrown on target, he's probably getting his hand on it. So it's just one of those things where, this is what rookie cornerbacks get tested on, and you can just see the fluidity, trusting his deep speed, staying square to the ball, all those things that we want to see. He is so darn good at them. And this is against Tez Walker again, and this is one of those slot reps I was talking about where he follows him down into the slot. It's one of the few, I think we only had 14 on the season. So he's right here in the slot, the inside slot. And as he breaks, you see him just right underneath. Perfect position where he's going to keep that right hand on the outside up here on that hip. And then he's got that left hand ready to go through his arms if there's kind of a slant thrown here. So really love the positioning, the physicality, all those things, the speed to keep up with Tez Walker, who is no slouch in the speed department. Just a thing of beauty. You're going to get a little bit of a press alignment here. And look at the stickiness. So he does break away here at the end, but we got to take a look at where these linebackers are. So he's going to stick with them throughout. And one thing I did notice, watch out in the receiver's release. So he's going to basically get a soft shoe release where he's lined up in press, but he's not going into jam. He's trying to mirror him. So as he does that, see all the head fakes, the hand fake. He's trying to get him off. Wiggins just runs with him. Now he breaks away here, but you got to keep in mind, Wiggins knows he has two linebackers in coverage here, and the ball's going that way. So I think that's why he didn't quite follow him there. I don't think that's him giving up separation. Kind of looked like it at first, but I think he sees the ball come out and he just lets it go. But you can see him throughout this entire route, not fooled by anything, just trusting his speed, good physicality, not shying away from any sort of contact, just sticks with him. And now I try to get some of these plays in here where he's kind of I want to show his physicality because a lot of people are taking a look at his weight, worried about his size, injuries, all that kind of stuff. And so there's no doubt that he is a lighter player. He was 172 at the combine, gained about 8-10 pounds at his pro day, so he's still only at about 180 pounds at 6'2". So he is, tall, slim, thin, all that stuff. But there is no lack of willingness, no lack of competitive toughness. And so I want to throw some of these together. So just going to see right up there in the physicality department. He's going to get up there, get physical. Here he is against one of FSU's bigger players. Just mirroring him off the ball. And you can see right there, no need to get, or, no concern when it gets physical. So he's actually going to get, I think this is actually against Tez Walker. He's going to take that right hand inside, push down, and try and cut back out to the left, or to the right, sorry. And Wiggins just works through it. No issues. Actually sticks with him. And you can kind of see Wiggins' reaction there, thinking, what the heck. A little bit more down here at the bottom. Nice press out of, this is where he gets his hand on, jams him all the way to the sideline. Love it. Just staying in front of him, staying physical. Doesn't mind getting, put your hands on him. It doesn't matter. So, again, people are going to talk about his size. That's going to be the major talking point. It's going to be listed on all of his weaknesses, but he does not lack physicality. He wants to smoke. So I think that's the most positive thing. Same thing here. Just mirroring. Getting in there. So this turns into basically an improvised route. So as the quarterback rolls out, see him rolling out here. Wiggins is going to stick with him, square with him. He comes back, ball comes out, hand right through. Boom. Almost gets a tipped up interception there for the safety behind him. But again, working through the catch point, physical. All that stuff you want to see. Here we're going to see a little bit in run support. So they're going to run a trap. So you're going to get 2 down blocks inside here. You're going to get overlaps from the linemen. This Notre Dame loves to do this kind of stuff. There goes that. Running back gets outside a little bit. He's going to come in. He's going to set that edge. He needs to be the man that sets the edge, force the ball back inside, can't give up that corner. As he does, sets up, fights through the block, gets in there, gets dirty. So I think he had 4 missed tackles on the year, but it wasn't something that stood out to me. And again, love how he sets 2 things here. He's going to set the edge. He's going to take up a square position, and he's going to take that arm, long arm him right in, and he's keeping that outside leverage because he needs to force that ball inside. If he gives up the sideline, that's him not doing his job. He needs to force that ball inside, and then he takes it a step further by actually working over that. So he's going to go arm under, basically a rip, and get in there and get a little physical on the ball carrier. So, pretty good in the run game. Didn't really have any issues. Not a whole lot of highlights. He seemed to face a lot of, I don't know what was going on in Clemson's games. They just got passed on a lot. I don't know if it was, maybe their run D was a lot better than I remember seeing. Their D-line I know was pretty good at run D, but just a lot of passes going Clemson defense's way. And there he is playing that catch point again. Again, playing that physical against the big FSU receivers too. So you see he's just getting his head around a little late there, but he's playing up through the catch point. So as Johnny Wilson puts his arms up, Nate Wiggins puts his arms up through and gets that ball out. So love that, but again, I want to see that head back around. See right there, you can see the white on his face mask through this route. It's facing the receiver. So that's just, again, something that I think we need to take a look at, be aware of, all that kind of stuff. This is that forced fumble he had. Watch him turn on the Jets. And then, boom, right at the goal line. Get that ball out. Had to throw this one in. It's just the sprint speed to catch up. And then, boom, a little fruit punch for you. Get that ball out. This was one of his. So this is against Drake May. And then he's just going to break on that ball for the pick. If it wasn't such a tight angle, this is right at the end of the game too. So this is just a thing of beauty. He just reads this. A little sloppy on the route from the receiver here. That might actually be Tez. Just a little sloppy. He reads it, jumps it. Boom. Ball skills. Love to see it. A little bit more here. Gets that ball out. God, I love seeing a corner that can play like that. So again, he's got that ability, opens outside, fights back inside, closes the distance, and it's really how he works his arm through. He's very, very good at working his hand through the catch point of the receiver. So contested catch situations, pretty much, even on those deep throws, even where I am concerned where his head isn't always around, he's still putting his hand in the right place, and he's avoiding the pass interference call. So that's kind of the counter to, I guess, where I would say is something I'm a little concerned about. You could turn around and say he plays it so well it doesn't really matter, and I think that's a very fair point because he does consistently do that. I think we got one more here. Oh no, this is just the angle. Sorry. I want to show you the angle of this play. There you can see him. See? So as receiver's hands come up, he's very, very good at doing exactly this. Hands are right there. His arm's coming through. So that's something that I think is a great counter argument to some of the things I was raising as a concern. Overall, man, there's a lot to like with this kid. He truly is one of the best cover corners in this draft. I'm not worried about the physicality. I think there'll be lumps in his tackling, lumps in his run defense, and for those that have those concerns, go look at the missed tackles in the preseason of 2022 in the first couple weeks with Kyle Hamilton. There was quite a few missed tackles, and now he's probably the best tackling DB, and a lot of that was because he just had to let the game speed catch up. Once he got the awareness down, the speed of the NFL, he had all the physicality in the world. And yes, he is a lot bigger than Wiggins in terms of his size, but Wiggins has that. He's got that fire. He's got that competitiveness. He's tough. He's not scared. He's not shying away from contact. So I think those are the most important things when I look at his size. But what I think separates him from other corners is how much he trusts his deep speed and how he's able to use that. You saw a number of clips where he's able to stay really sticky in coverage and really really overtake the stem of a route because he doesn't turn his hips and start running downfield. He trusts that he can recover and run with a player. It's all going to be about how does he get that head back around. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. Leave some feedback down below. Again, I'm doing this on every player the Ravens drafted. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you're new here. And go check out all the good things going on over at Russell Street Report. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Peace out, everyone.